Hello, Todd here. I am doing my first live video. I started this channel, Intel Freedom, to to be able to do things like this, and it should be being simulcast on a couple of different pages. I'm sort of testing my abilities at the moment, so just bear with me a minute while I check something. Yep, it's simulcast, so that's great. All right, hey, Todd here. I know all of you guys know me as just a typical old country boy. Knows a little bit about electronics, some interesting things. What many of you don't know is right above my head, right here in this picture, is my commission as military intelligence from June of 1990. And I worked in the intelligence field a long time. I'm not just a poor dumb country boy from Tick Bite, although I do act like one a lot. I did a couple of things. So when things like happen with Charlie Kirk, that was god awful. How do you just assassinate somebody like that? I heard about it. I got home and watched a couple of videos, and something really stood out to me. And it was that guy that was standing up, dancing around, waving his arms in the air like he was celebrating when everybody else was taking cover, laying on the ground. It did not make sense to me. So it made me think. We had a gunman at an elevated position. He had more ammo, but he only took one shot. He hit his primary target and he didn't shoot anymore. Why would somebody do that? I can't think of but one reason. But why would somebody do that? Why would somebody have the opportunity to have a mass shooting and not do it? The only thing I can come up with is he knew there were friendlies in his line of fire. If he'd have opened fire on that group of people down there, he might have been shooting his friends. I find from an intelligence perspective, I find the timing of the shot to be very suspect. There's someone up there talking, asking a question about transgender and firearms, which was a hot political topic at the moment, and immediately the shots rang out and he's hit. Makes you think. So the information I'm going to go over is based on information published by FBI Director Patel, Assistant Director Bongino, and the Governor of Idaho. They stated, I knocked my camera over, excuse me. They stated publicly several things. So the suspect is expected in court Tuesday. He evidently wrote a letter ahead of time that he was going to target Kirk, and the letter was destroyed. However, the FBI went and talked with his roommate, who it seems like it's going to turn out to be that his roommate is transitioning to be female, and they may be in some kind of relationship. I'm going to hold off on verifying that because I haven't. I've heard two or three sides of that. So, but the note was destroyed, and the FBI was able to via forensic information get the note back. So there are people that knew about this before it happened. That'd be accessory before the fact. They are accessories to the assassination. There was also a lot of discussion, apparently, in text messages and on online forums. The FBI confirmed today that they were investigating that and looking into it. So, about this guy, there's people out there saying that he didn't do it. His grandmother specifically came up with a story about how he's innocent and being railroaded. The FBI found his DNA on the towel that was wrapped around the murder weapon. The ATF is processing the murder weapon. They'll be able to tell us if his DNA is on it. But they recovered his DNA from the murder scene and from items directly connected to the rifle. It doesn't look good for him. So back about the guy frailing his arms in the air and the decoys. I call them decoys. You got a guy in the crowd that confessed to doing it, and you've got another guy that was arrested for something. The FBI questioned him and let him go because who knows? But the FBI did confirm today that they are, number one, making sure they do it legally so that they can bring charges, if they're needed. But they're doing forensic recovery on text messages, phones, online chat places. If other people are involved, they're going to get caught. Now that takes care of the evidence per se. They're going to arraign him tomorrow, I guess. What troubles me most, I think, other than somebody being murdered for their speech. Yeah, Charlie was murdered for words that he spoke and things that he wrote. I really wasn't a big Charlie Kirk fan. I didn't follow his work. I've probably watched 5 or 6 of his videos. I hear a lot of people quoting him and saying that he said this and that he was a racist and he did this and he did that. If that's true, if you'll send me the links, I'd like to watch those videos. I'm not real big on somebody telling me that somebody else said something. Back when I originally started doing this, it was all in written form. I didn't do videos. But when I originally started doing this back during the Hillary Clinton Trump election, people were quoting Obama and saying that Obama said this and Obama said that. He wasn't my favorite president, but he was misquoted a lot. I would watch the speech that he gave and they would pull 2 or 3 little words out and then completely twist the meaning. They did the same thing to Biden. They do the same thing to Trump now. So I'm not a real big fan of so-and-so said this. If you've got a source that says somebody said it, show me the source. I want to see the facts. I don't want to talk hearsay. I don't want to look at what some news agency or some blogger posted that this person was this or this person was that. Ryan, the shooter here, I've got his picture over here, and I may try and share this screen. I'm still learning how to do this stuff, believe it or not. I don't see my button to share the screen, so we'll do that next time. But the FBI said that he had people he was talking to. They got him on video making a phone call before the shooting. Who'd he call? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that person has had a chat with an FBI agent by now. So he drove to the university and carried a gun in a gun-free zone. I didn't think we were supposed to be able to do that. Whole nother story. But and then took a shot, killing a man for speech. If you like Charlie Kirk, if you hate Charlie Kirk, it doesn't really matter. The man was killed for things that he said, and we're supposed to be a society where we can debate. I've watched a couple of his videos in the last couple of days, and he seemed to be a very good debater. I didn't hear anything out of his mouth that sounded like hate to me. I did see where that he would let somebody come up and state their position, and then he would give them facts as to why he believed their position was not accurate. So I don't think that's hate. I think that's debate. There's a singer here. I can't show my screen, but he was doing performance, and he said for Charlie to rest in, and he used a four-letter word for urine. And then he's claiming that he didn't do anything wrong. There's people that celebrated, I mean, jumped up and threw their hands around and just absolutely celebrated his death. And people are losing their jobs left and right, getting fired over statements they're making. I made the observation that the people that were against cancel culture are really very much in favor of it now. And I said that kind of tongue in cheek because I get it. Trust me, I get it. There's a big difference between saying I didn't like this man, I didn't care for his work, and cheering that somebody murdered him. Which brings me to my last point. Are we at the point now where it's acceptable to murder people because you don't agree with them? I'm speaking to the people out there now that have celebrated the death and have cheered that Kirk was murdered. Are you saying that you are in favor of that? What happens when somebody doesn't agree with your speech? I don't think you thought it through. I don't want to murder anybody because of what they said, and I don't want anybody to murder me because of what I said. We're supposed to be able to talk about things. We're not supposed to go out and shoot each other because somebody hurt your feelings. That's not the way this country's supposed to be. That thing right back there where I served my country, I didn't do the things that I did so that we could shoot each other because somebody said something you didn't like. It's not right. It's unacceptable. It's time to stop it. It's time to stop it now. We've gotten to a point where our society is so divided that we can't have a simple conversation. And the rhetoric on both sides of this thing is just unreal. I read an article today that I thought to myself as I was reading it, I said, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And they were saying that the shooter was a extremely right-wing person when the governor of Idaho says he's not, and the FBI says he's not, said he'd been radicalized. He did grow up in a conservative family. He lived in a conservative community. And one of the news articles I was reading stated that there had been some kind of change in this young man. And I can't take myself, I try and think logically, and I can't take myself down a logical trail that leads from disagreeing with someone to taking a rifle and murdering them in front of their wife and children. I can't get there logically. It's something that a crazy person does. And the people that are celebrating it, I mean, totally celebrating it. What have we become as a society that you feel like that's acceptable? It's not. It's not. I'm sure somebody will find fault with what I'm saying right now. And what I'm saying is we all need to get along. But I'm going to give you some pointers on how to avoid being upset by speech. Number one, if you don't agree with the speaker, you don't have to listen to him. If the speaker's holding an event, say at your college or in your hometown, and you don't agree with the speaker and you don't agree with the event, you don't have to go. You don't. You go somewhere else. Go somewhere you enjoy. If you like going to the movies, instead of going to that event, go to a movie you like to see. Get you some popcorn, kick back, enjoy yourself, and just pretend it's not even happening. we have a section of society that believes that their ideas are so good that they have to be mandatory and they have to force those ideas upon you. When I was a young boy growing up in Tick Bite, my parents told me, you do your thing, let other people do their thing. You do you, let them do them. You don't have to get involved. You don't have to participate. You don't have to go to that event. If you don't like somebody's book, you don't have to ban it. Nobody says you got to read it either. Nobody. So this has been my little rant. I'm going to come back and talk some more. Oh, one last thing. I used to do profiles. So I would take the information that was known and I would write up a profile and try and figure out as much information about this unknown person as I could. And I hadn't done a profile in years. But when I heard about Charlie Kirk and I heard about the people celebrating and I heard about when the shot was taken and that there was only one shot, I decided to write a profile and see if I could come up with who the shooter was. My profile was, it was going to be a person between 19 and 26 years old. He's 22. I said he was going to use a hunting rifle. It was going to be a bolt action rifle. And I said it was a .308 caliber. Turns out it was a 30-06. I really thought it would be a .308 caliber because the shooter would be trying to avoid the recoil of the 30-06. I missed that point. I said the shooter would be either female, transgender, transitioning to female, or associated with transgender. That's not a racist statement or a hate statement. It's just based on current events and when the shot was taken and a few other factors. Mainly the last couple of shooters, that's what it's been. So the news is reporting today that the shooter's live-in boyfriend, girlfriend, I'm not real good with the terms. I'm not trying to misgender anybody, but the person's transgender. So I hit that point too. The point I'm making is that when I wrote that profile, the only part that I missed was I specified a 30-06 rifle and it was a .308. I've been out of the business a long time and I was able to write that profile based on news reports. So there's people out there a lot smarter than me that are working on this case. Don't get drawn into the rhetoric. Don't start fighting with each other. Just because I had somebody unfriend me today because I didn't, I guess, hate hard enough for them. I made a statement. I made it just a few minutes ago that the people that disliked cancel culture were sure into it now. It's true. And I don't believe that a teacher that has praised the murder of someone should be teaching kids. I don't. If I was still running my business, I wouldn't want that person working for me. Even if it was my best employee, I don't think I could let them continue working for me. So think about it. Think about what you're doing. But don't go out there on a witch hunt. Don't go looking for them. There's an organization that has created a searchable database. They say they're going to have 20,000 people in it. A searchable database of people that have celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's terrible that they celebrated his assassination. I wouldn't be upset if their employer found out that they celebrated his assassination. But I want you to think about what that database is. A searchable database with personal identifiable information of political adversaries. It's not just a database, it's a weapon. but it's also free speech. It's freedom of the press, really, not really speech. It's freedom of the press. So when Charlie was murdered, he was exercising freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and freedom of redress of his grievance. He was hitting all 5 points of the First Amendment of the United States. And there's a section of our society that lives in this country that is fully okay with him being murdered for doing that. That's a problem. How did we get here, and how do we fix it? I'll be doing more of these talks later. I'm going to call it a night now. Thanks for watching. I hope the video went out okay. I won't know until I watch it. I did record on 2 cameras, so if the live video didn't work well, I've got a backup camera, and we'll see what happens there. Thanks for being there. Thanks for following the page, and I'll see you next time. This is Todd. Good night.